Hey there, good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid garage. Looks like we're live right now. So this is my Wednesday morning live hangout that I like to do. So if you're new to the channel, that's kind of how my channel works lately. On Wednesdays, I've been going live at 9 o'clock. Just pulling up my tablet here so I can see your guys' comments. Live chat. So this is just kind of a fun time to hang out and chat, and usually I cover some topic. Like today I'm going over my new jack stands, and I'm getting rid of my old Harbor Freight ones, and I'll kind of go through why. Obviously there was a recall on the Harbor Freight jack stands on some of them, but not all of them. But I'll kind of go over these a little bit, show you the differences and why ultimately I'm switching out those Harbor Freight ones. So yeah, like I said, if you're new to my channel, this is what I like to do Wednesday mornings. It's a fun time to kind of hang out and chat. And then on Fridays, I have my regular, nicely edited videos. So let's see, we got Bill and Jake here. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Grab a cup of coffee, sit down, and we'll look at jack stands and talk about the differences here. So obviously, these are the Pro Lift. I have a 6-ton and 3-ton. That's what I had previously with my Harbor Freight ones. And now Harbor Freight, they had a big recall on their jacks. I got one right here. Sorry, I keep saying jacks, but I mean jack stands. You guys know what I mean. So Harbor Freight had a big recall on their jack stands. And because of failure where the teeth here wouldn't engage the prowl, is it called? So they would collapse. The models I have were not recalled. I've got this guy. This is my 6-ton and this is my 3-ton. So they had their initial recall and neither of these were in that recall list. So I thought, hey, I'm fine to still use them. But then Harbor Freight came out with another recall where they recalled some more of these jack stands, but still these weren't on the list. But honestly, I really like Harbor Freight. I really appreciate them because I work in healthcare, and during the crisis with the COVID crisis, they donated a whole bunch of PPE, personal protective equipment, to the hospitals and stuff. So it's really cool. But anyways, another cool thing Harbor Freight did is they went ahead and issued a recall where if you have any of their jack stands and you want to return them and get your money back, you can. Doesn't matter if they're a part of the recall or not. So ultimately, I thought jack stands are obviously very important. It can be, when you're crawling under a 1,000-pound, 1,500-pound vehicle, whatever, 2,000, 2,300 pounds, it's heavy. It'll crush you and kill you. You don't want cheap equipment when you're doing that. So I got these Pro Lifts off of Amazon. I put a link in the description below where you guys can find them if you're interested in them. But there's a few key features on them that I really like that I'll show you. I guess we'll just go over the 6-ton guy here. And yeah, these are 6-ton. Each jack stand can hold 6-ton. And it's obviously made heavier duty than the Harbor Freight guys here. But the key feature that really sold me on it is it has this locking pin that if you put this in, it can't collapse. So it operates like a standard jack stand, right? You lift it up, it engages the teeth. And that was the failure on the Harbor Freight ones, is these teeth were kind of shallow and it would just collapse on you. But one thing I don't like, or I never did like about these, this is really, oh yeah, you can see how these teeth are just much shallower. But one thing I don't like is you go up like that and, it's just fine, it locks in place. But when you're underneath your vehicle, rustling around, like pulling on a bolt or trying to wrestle a transmission into place, and you kick your foot up, all you have to do is on you. Obviously, the way it's designed, when you have pressure on it, it's harder to kick out. But when you're down there kicking your feet around, you do have that risk of kicking that, dropping it, and crushing yourself. But with the Pro Lift, that's one of the reasons I really like this locking pin. Without the locking pin, obviously it releases just like a normal jack stand. But once you get it set where you want it, you take the locking pin, put that locking pin in, and then it's not going anywhere. So that is kind of the safety feature that sold me on it. Other thing that I wanted to show you guys is just the quality of the build, the difference between this and like the Harbor Freight one. So let me grab the camera here and show you. Who else we got on here? Bill, Mark, Sandrin, Ian, Jake. Good morning, everybody. Jake, oh man, I missed the beginning, LOL. My phone internet is apparently isn't ready for live stream. Didn't the Harbor Freight ones also have an issue with the triangle collapsing too? Or is it just the teeth? What I read about was the teeth on there. I think, is that called the prawl? Is that what engages the teeth? Like the teeth on it were just too shallow. Let's see if we can actually look at the difference here. I'm going to grab the camera. So the teeth, yeah, you can kind of see the difference in the teeth here. So those guys are pretty shallow. These ones are a bit deeper. But also so these are both 6 ton, right? So here's our Harbor Freight, 6 ton, Pro Lift, 6 ton. Right, very similar jacks, but this Pro Lift has the locking pin, which honestly really sold me on it. But then the quality of construction is just kind of remarkable. So they're both 6 ton jacks. And let's see if we can, I actually took a micrometer and measured the different thickness of the metal here. And the Pro Lift is significantly, hang on, need to make sure you guys can still hear me here. Sorry about that. So anyways, the Pro Lift, the gauge of the metal, the thickness of the metal is significantly different than the Harbor Freight. So the Harbor Freight, this guy is just a lot thinner. But also, look at the welds, like just on the feet, for example. This is almost like a joke. There's like a couple little tiny splatters of welding, where this is, you know, a real weld all the way around. So just the quality of construction on the feet here, significantly different. The other thing I really noticed, sorry, I'm trying to rustle jack stands here and talk to you guys. So where the two pieces of the base are welded together here, see if we can see that. So you got a nice weld all the way across along here. The Harbor Freight guy, where the two pieces come together, I don't know if you can see that, but the welding is just kind of, I don't know, looks like something I would do. A very beginner, novice welder. Just a little splattering of some welding, but nothing thick at all. Just seems pretty cheap. And I've found that all the way around on all of the welds on this Harbor Freight jack stand. There we go. The struggles of live streaming. So anyways, yeah, bottom line, the welds on the Pro Lift, significantly better. The gauge of the metal is obviously a lot heavier duty, a lot thicker gauge metal. You can see on the front, gosh, let me show you this. On the front, look at this. I mean, there's a gap all the way down. I mean, a groove all the way down. On the Pro Lift, it's welded together much, much nicer. Just kind of all the way around. Every little weld I look at, you know, up here where the prawl is, you know, significantly better on the Pro Lift. So that was the review of the 6 ton. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you on the 6 ton. If you do get one of these, and like I said, they're linked in the description below, the ones I got. So I'm going to take these Harbor Freight ones back to Harbor Freight, get my money back, and I'm just going to be using the Pro Lift. One thing on the setup, let me show you. And all these things I'm talking about on the 6-ton are pretty much identical with the 3-ton as far as the differences between this and the old Pittsburgh Harbor Freight. Same issues all the way around, where the teeth on this are better, the welds are better, the gauge of the metal is thicker, just everything is beefier about it. So I really like that. One thing, setup of these, obviously, when you pull them out of the box is super easy. Nothing really special on the 3-ton. It has this little tab right here, which you bend in and, you know, keeps you from lifting this neck all the way out. On the 6-ton, though, it has the same feature, little tab right here that you bend in. But if you get this 6-ton, obviously you have to, let me grab the other neck here. I'm making up my own terms here. Come back with me. Jake is here. So let me open this up real quick for you guys so I can show you the setup on the 6-ton here. Need my knife. I'm just getting the locking pin out here. And yeah, like I said, this is what sold me not only the better construction, but and this is not a paid sponsorship by any means. This is just me buying equipment that I am willing and wanting to use. So let me bring you guys in. There we go. So this little tab, you put your little neck in here, and yeah, these teeth are just so much better. So this tab we're going to bend in to keep us from lifting this all the way out, right, and disengaging it. One thing on the 6-ton though, when you go to bend this in, it bends into this channel here. You can't drop it all the way down to there when you're setting it up. Here, look on this guy here, because this one's bent in already. It just drops down to right there because of this extra bar right across, or this extra piece right there. It doesn't drop down that far. If you drop it down all the way like that and then go to bend this in, you're going to be stuck. It's going to get stuck right there. So make sure you have it up a few teeth and then bend it in. So let's do that real quick. Let's set it up. Super easy setup, and then I'll get to some comments here. This is how I did it. I'm going to mute you guys because this is going to be loud. How do I mute it? There it is. Mute microphone. Alrighty, I'm back. Unmuted. So anyways, setup is that easy, but that one little trick on the old 6-ton. Microphone, there we go. Anyways, that one little trick on the 6-ton when you're setting it up, make sure that you don't have it collapsed entirely. The other thing on the 6-ton, when it's down all as far, it has to be up one tooth like that. If it's down all the way where that tab's catching it, your little safety pin won't fit in, so it has to be up at least one tooth. But really love that safety pin, and ultimately that's, yeah, the big thing that sold me on it. I love that pin, and obviously the welds, the gauge of the material, all that, just so much better. And these are designed, move you guys around. These are designed 3-ton, there you go, 3-ton each jack. So in combination, this can support up to 6,000 pounds. Is that blurry? What's that blurry? And the 6-ton, same thing. Pro Lift 6-ton. Where are we at? Up to 12,000 pounds. So shipped from Amazon, but yeah, I think I'm really gonna like these. Taking back the other Harbor Freight ones, they're going away. So that's kind of my review of the Pro Lift. Let's chat a little bit, see what you guys are up to. Do I have anything else to say about these? Not really. I mean, they're jack stands. Nothing super fancy, but you just want to be safe. The other thing I'll say about jack stands, so this is my Pittsburgh. I mean, this guy worked really well for years. Never had an issue with it, but gosh, yeah, the welds on this are just ridiculous. Let me show you one more. Look at the weld on this foot right here. Or lack of weld. There's just nothing there. It's like they kind of spit on it a little bit. Oh, yeah, what I was going to say, the other thing about jack stands, obviously, you know, you're supporting the weight of your vehicle. I just saw another, like, I'm always paying attention to other people's accidents because I like to learn from other people's mistakes. Where somebody was working on a vehicle, and I forget what happened, but the vehicle shifted forward, and that's how the jack stand failed. It didn't collapse or get crushed, or it was improper use of the jack stand. He didn't have the wheels chalked properly. The vehicle shifted forward, and that caused the jack stand to just kind of collapse. So, I don't know, safety, working under your vehicle, make sure your wheels are chalked really well, and use a good quality jack stand. So, let me drop this down. We'll set up coffee time. Good morning. Let's see. What weld? LOL. Yeah, exactly. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me move the mic a little bit here. And I'm going to just kind of relax. Grab my coffee here. Oh. So yeah, like I said, those Pro Lift jack stands, linked in the description down below of what I got, and I don't know, I think I'm going to be really happy with them. Let's see what you guys are up to. Russ is here, Jake, Kim, Adam, good morning. Bill, let's see, when you going to start body work? Oh, there's so much body work to do on this project behind me. I don't know. Right now, honestly, I'm finishing up. I'm going to bleed the clutch, try to get that done today, get my daughter to help me with that. Leaf springs I got to do on this. Then it'll be like in great running order. Actually, I have some seat belts I got to put in it because it didn't have seat belts. So I don't know. Body work. I've never done body work, so I don't know. That's a good question. Adam, let's see. Trying to fix my 91 YJ. Just started revving it up while driving and then driving back down to almost stalling out. Your videos have been a great help for everything except I've done. Started revving up while driving, and then driving back home almost stalled out. Boy, that's tough, Adam. Without driving it, yeah, I'm not sure. Would need more information, I guess. Let's see, Jake. When I'm under the Jeep, if I have to jack it up, I put it on the stands, chalk, put the jack with just a little tension, yeah, under the frame for good measure. Fortunately, there's room to get under without. Yeah, that's another thing I do as well. Leave the jack under there. One of my hydraulic jacks, right? It kind of slowly loses pressure though, so it's not super handy in that. But I use multiple jack stands. You know, I use like 2 primary ones, then I'll put like a third one as a secondary safety catch-all. The other thing I really like to do is if I'm taking the wheels off, I try to throw the wheel underneath the axle or engine or somewhere where it'll catch. Like if it collapsed, at least it would fall down onto the wheel. I got the transmission out of my CJ7. Going to start removing the pressure plate. Cool. Fun project, fun Jeep. See some of these guys that I missed your other comments. The weld also split open. Yeah, the material should be stronger than the material surrounded. Most brittle. Yeah, those Harbor Freight ones. Until I got these Pro Lift. Until I got these, I hadn't really looked super close at those Harbor Freight ones. At just comparing the welds, that kind of thing. I was like, oh, it's a jack stand. Like, look, neat. But when I compare them to these Pro Lift, yeah, significantly better. Big difference. So, yeah, like I mentioned, if you're just joining me, I did link these in the description. Check them out. They're actually not too expensive on Amazon, and you guys will see me using them in future videos. Let's see. Kim said, I returned mine, no replacement at the time. Yeah, so with Harbor Freight is great, but I mean, yeah, we all know they sell cheap stuff, but you know, when you can buy a $1.99 socket set, it's like it's a disposable socket set, which is fine, I think, for some tools. Obviously, it's not going to be Craftsman or Snap-on, like last you forever, but something you use once a year, like, you know, I don't know, you need a 1.25 inch socket and you got to buy just one, or, you know, something like that you're only going to use once in a great while. It's just fine. It's not a piece of safety equipment. If it breaks, honestly, a lot of their sockets and things have lifetime warranties. And actually, I did that on a adapter. I think it was 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. It just snapped right off. I took the pieces back to them. They're like, oh, okay, grab another set. I'm like, cool. So with, you know, some tools that you don't use very often, it's just fine. If it is a tool you're going to use a lot, yeah, buy a high quality, buy a Craftsman or something. That's going to last you a long time. But for tools you don't use very often and you just need, like, I need a really long extension. Yeah, it works just fine. Except, yeah, that's kind of what I've learned here and kind of what I'm promoting now is when it comes to safety equipment, like jack stands, don't cheap out. Like, yeah, I wouldn't buy the Harbor Freight jack stands, like from what I've seen now, comparing them, unless they increase their quality quite a bit. Yeah, just not going to do it. I like eggs. Hi from Mexico. Javier. Is that Javier? I have a 91, worked on it myself. Thank you for your videos. They've been very helpful. You're welcome. Matthew, Harbor Freight is good for tools only. Need to use once. Yeah. There are some Harbor Freight things, yeah, I've bought and used once because it was just cheapest. Some things I bought and used just on a rare occasion. Some Harbor Freight things, though, I've bought and used numerous times. It seems to last and work. So, I don't know. You're taking a risk when you're buying Harbor Freight, but it's so cheap. How can you not? Trying to decide if I should swap tubs or do a panel replacement. Oh, Bill, were you the one asking about body work? Or is that somebody else? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, body work on this is going to be a huge project. How's your frame? I have a few tiny holes in the very rear since its miner was going to weld on plates around it. Yeah, I mean, depending where those holes are at, yeah, you can do that. You can do frame repair. I'm not a frame repair expert. The frame on my Jeeps, I'm in Oregon on the West Coast. We don't use salt here, so the frames are really good on these. Actually, my 94, the frame looks great. This has a little bit of rust on it, but just some surface rust. Doing the limbo. I use Harbor Freight stuff for the trail. If I lose them, oh well. Yeah, I've thought about the same thing. Like, you know, I put together my gear bag, tools for the trail, that kind of thing. Harbor Freight, yeah, but my one concern about that is you get out there and you got your 3/4 socket and you're doing lug nuts or something, and then the socket breaks or deforms because it's Harbor Freight, it's cheap. And now you're out on the trail with a broken tool as well. So that's where I'm like, yeah. But yeah, you're right. If you lose it, who cares? But maybe if you brought a backup, but if you have a backup, you don't have that much. I don't know. So yeah, trail use, I don't know. I'm still kind of debating that in my head. Let's see, my impact set from Harbor Freight. Yeah, I have an impact set from Harbor Freight. Nice too is I don't have to care about them. You can really beat on them knowing it'll only be a few dollars if anything happens. That's true. I have probably the same impact set from Harbor Freight, and it has given me no issues. Some of my other sockets or adapters or things, yeah, I've broken some of those from Harbor Freight. But the impact ones, yeah, I've had zero problems with. Trying to think, like the toughest thing I've ever done with them. Maybe like lug nuts, that kind of thing. So not super tight. When I did my hub nut, spindle nut, you know, what's that thing torqued to, like 200 pounds? I think I actually have a Craftsman set I used on that. So, but yeah, my impact set, no issues. Bring a buddy, LOL. Yes. Backup tools and a buddy with tools. That's a good idea. So anyways, if you guys have questions or anything on these Pro Lift, leave a comment. I'd love to hear. And say, hey Dale, I really enjoy your videos. I've learned a lot from them. I have a 98 YJ with a 4.2, 172,000 miles. Take care from Colombia, South America. Very cool. And who is that? Andreas? It's probably morning there too, huh? Harbor Freight recalled Pittsburgh Automotive, both 3-ton and 6-ton. Yes, they recalled quite a few different model numbers. Last I checked, the model numbers I had weren't recalled, but they went ahead and published something that said, like, if you want to bring any jack stand back, we'll replace it or give you your money back. I've heard good things about the impact socket. Also used the regular sockets on my impact, expecting them to fail quickly, and they've been okay. Wouldn't rely on them on the trail though, LOL. Nice. So anyways, I've got other things that I gotta go get going doing this morning. So if you guys have questions, like I said, leave a comment down below. These new jack stands are listed in my description. But like I said, seems like the build quality is a lot better than my Pittsburgh. That's my Pittsburgh 3-ton. And the new 6-ton. 6-ton is just, yeah, way heavier gauge metal. And the welds and the safety pin. Lots of things about it I like much better. So, you guys have a good day, and I will catch you on Friday for my regular video. Have a good day.